Congresswoman Jackie Spier is making Friday Wear Sleeveless to Work Day at the Capitol. It's all in response to Speaker Paul Ryan's decision to change the House rules to modernize the dress code. It all started after a CBS News reporter noticed some female reporters getting kicked out of a section of the Capitol building known as the Speaker's Lobby. In this particular area of the House of Representatives, a strict dress code is followed. CBSNews.com political reporter Rebecca Shabbat originally reported on the dress code controversy last week. She joins me now from Washington. So, Rebecca, give us the backstory here. What did you notice?
Right. So I'm on the Hill a few days a week, and I had been hearing recently from some of my female colleagues on the Hill that a number of them had been kicked out of what's called the Speaker's Lobby, which you mentioned, which is adjacent to the House chamber, and they were kicked out for wearing sleeveless dresses. And there was one anecdote that kept being told to me by a few other reporters about a young female reporter a few weeks ago being kicked out of the Speaker's Lobby for wearing a sleeveless dress, and after she was kicked out, she returned with what she tried to create paper sleeves. She ripped pages out of her reporter's notebook, stuffed them into the shoulder openings of her dress, and tried to create sleeves. Unfortunately for her, that didn't work. They kicked her out again.
Well, when was, Rebecca, the dress code last updated?
Right, that's a great question. So I really dug deep into this because when reporters come to the Hill, they're verbally told, at least for women, that they can't wear sleeveless dresses, they can't wear open-toed shoes, they can't wear sneakers. But as I found out in reporting out this story, there is no written code specifically outlawing those pieces of clothing. The only thing that I could find was in this manual called the Jefferson's Manual for the House of Representatives, and it referenced I think it was the 69th Congress, where Speaker Tip O'Neill, a Democrat, was in charge, and he kicked a member off of the House floor for wearing inappropriate clothing at the time. And he said that men need to wear jackets and ties, and women need to wear, quote, appropriate clothing. He didn't actually say you can't wear sleeveless dresses.
Okay, well, just to be clear, we've already talked about this a little bit, but if you can expound on this, Rebecca, the entire Capitol does not have a dress code. We see tourists who are going in there. It is open to the public, and there's no dress code there. But can you tell us specifically about where these rules apply?
Right. So it's mainly just the House chamber and the Speaker's Lobby. And the reason why this became an issue recently is because it's getting hot outside. The weather was extremely humid today in D.C. It reached 105 degrees for the heat index. So, of course, women want to wear the least that they can wear on the Hill. But Speaker Paul Ryan recently reiterated to lawmakers in the House chamber that they need to follow the House rules, but he didn't specify what they are.
So what finally motivated the Speaker to make the change?
I would like to think it was the story that I reported last week, but
it helped.
Yeah, I think it clearly created a huge backlash. But then yesterday in the House floor, a congresswoman from Arizona, Martha McSally, she said at the end of her speech, she noted that she was wearing a sleeveless top, and I think that might have prompted this whole change.
Well, what happens now, Rebecca?
That's a great question. So Speaker Paul Ryan announced on the floor today that he's reviewing the House rules with the House Sergeant at Arms, and they're going to modernize the dress code policy.
All right. Well, if you haven't had a chance to check out Rebecca's story, I highly, highly recommend it. CBSNews.com political reporter Rebecca Shabbat. Thanks so much, Rebecca, for joining us and for your astute observations.
Thanks for having me.